Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I've put together a list and kind of narrowed it down to 5 different things that if I was new to thrifting or really wanting to get into it and didn't want to feel overwhelmed, here is where I would start. It's been something that I have enjoyed and has been a passion for so many years now, and it's like a muscle where you have to build over time. Like anything else, it can be daunting to go into a store and see the amount of clothes and items in there, and it definitely can be overstimulating. But with these 5 rules that I have learned along the way, I feel like my journey and the way that I find things is so much easier now. And again, I am coming from experience. Like I said, I've been doing this for many years now, and with my social media being predominantly with thrifting and secondhand fashion, I am doing it a lot. So I feel like I know what I'm talking about. If you are new to the channel, I have been thrifting since early high school. Please see a picture of me in all thrifted outfits. But actually my cousin got me into it. She's about 15 years older than me, and so when I was a young teen, she was living in Los Angeles in her 20s, and even then the thrifting was so good, and she would take me on these trips and we would go to these vintage stores and find all this cool stuff. I was also really interested in old movies and fashion, and this is where I got to see like real life pieces up close and personal. Obviously I didn't have a ton of money when you're in early high school, and so I was actually able to afford the kind of clothes that I was looking at and wanting to create with my style. And basically the rest is history. I have been doing it for so many years now. I've seen so many trends come and go and kind of see the evolution of what thrift stores have become, especially living close to Los Angeles, California, where that scene is really big. I've had many great opportunities working with different thrift stores and taking you along with me as recently as starting this YouTube channel, which is now officially 2 years old. So I love being able to share this kind of knowledge, and I feel like one of the questions that I get most often is how do you go in there and not get overwhelmed and actually find like actual gems. So today I figured we would go back to square one, chapter 1, section 1, and we're gonna go through and I am gonna give you all the tea, all the basics, everything on 5 things that I wish that I knew sooner when it comes to thrifting. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I have put together a list on my computer. I feel like these are the most quintessential things if I was someone new that was just starting my thrifting journey, and I feel like this list is going to be very simple, very easy, and I will also leave the list down below if you need to reference it as well. The most important thing that you have to look at when you're going to a thrift store, and pretty much every place that I've gone to does this, you're gonna want to learn the days where they have the deals. Goodwill, for example, changes their colored tags that are going to be 50% off every day. For the Savers locations that are in my area, Tuesdays and Thursdays have different deals. When you're going, you're going to want to maximize how much you're getting off. Certain thrift stores will do home decor or electronics on certain days. Every single thrift store is different, but if you can learn when your deals are, you'll be able to save more money. And that's what we're really here for. You can usually find these things on like a billboard in the front. Sometimes they have signage. Or what I like to do is follow their social media. So I follow a lot of the Goodwill location, Savers, and some small mom and pops as well, because a lot of them will update their social media different days that have items that are ticketed at half price. I feel like in the beginning when I started thrifting, I would just go whenever I had a day off. And you can still totally do that. But if you're wanting to maximize on those deals, that is definitely like #1 thing. Even with new thrift stores too, I'll go on their social media, I'll go on their website, and I'll see what kind of deals they have. Sometimes different thrift stores will also have deals for seniors, military discount, things like that. Kind of encompassing all of that as well, I really like to use Yelp because people will post pictures and will leave reviews on these type of deals and if they're worth it. And usually the ones that are the most recent will be at the top, so you can go through and scroll, and a lot of people on Yelp have really helped me decide if a thrift store is worth it based on those deals. Do not skip out on Yelp and social media for those type of things. Even TikTok as well. So I would say that is the number one thing. Like, go when they have the deals, right? The stuff is already going to be cheaper, but if you can get even more of a savings, then that's even better. So the number one question, like I mentioned before, that people always ask is like, don't you get overwhelmed when you're at these thrift stores? Like, how do you go in and find these gems like I show you weekly? But I would say for someone that is starting off, don't go into a thrift store, do not step foot in one without a plan, without a mission. If you are going for a vacation and you want some new clothes, pick out 3 categories: shorts, dresses, and the tank tops. They're all going to be sectioned off, and only go to those 3 sections. Literally, I could spend less than an hour going in and finding the outfits that I need when I have a mission. Another example is when I go thrifting for different trends, like winter trends. There's no way that I'm going to be checking out the tank tops and short sleeve. So I completely bypass that section for that thrift store. Because there are days where I can literally spend an entire day in that store, and you can get overstimulated and overwhelmed very quickly. You can get confused and not really know what you're looking for anymore. But if you go in with a plan, that's less likely to happen. When I was first starting out thrifting, I'd go to the front and then work my way back. I would go to the area that had maybe like the more collectible items, and I just kind of browse and not really go in with something in mind. And I know there are a lot of times where I will go to thrift stores and be like, I don't have a plan. But like I keep saying, I've been doing it long enough that I feel like I don't really need to. I know my limits and things like that, so I don't necessarily have to be as strict with it. But if you are new to it and you're wanting to find some gems, I feel like sticking with a plan is literally the best thing you can do. And is always the first advice that I give people when they ask me about it too. Things are constantly turning over when you're thrifting. I've gone to a store 2 days in a row and have not found any of the same items, and things are constantly moved. So if you stick with a plan and you stick with certain sections, you're more likely to find what you're looking for, and you also know pretty quickly whether you're going to find what you're looking for. And if you're on a time crunch, you won't spend your time sifting through all kinds of things. So for item number 3, I've mentioned this one before, and if you watch my YouTube videos, you've probably heard me say this before, but checking the go back rack at any thrift store is bound to be the best items. It makes it a lot easier to find things that you're looking for because it's a smaller rack. Normally they'll put them at the end cap of one of the rows. Sometimes you'll see them in the back, or you'll see people moving things from associates that work there, things like that. But what I really like about this is that basically someone else has done the work for you. They have gone through and perused and picked through whatever it is, and usually, at least at the thrift stores by me, it'll kind of be tops, jackets, pants, dresses, things like that, kind of in a line, because they're going to take them back to their area. And now it's your opportunity to go through and see if you can find any gems that didn't fit someone. Maybe it just wasn't their style, something like that. But that is one thing that I always do whenever I'm looking, and there's never really a right time to do it. I'll sometimes go at first thing, sometimes I'll go towards the end as just a last ditch effort. I think this is the easiest way to find items, and I have found a lot of different things from people that put things back. And I have also left some treasures in that area too, so never know what you're gonna find there. I think it'd be a fun challenge one day to just go and look through all of the go back racks and see if I can build an outfit that way. I think that would be kind of a fun challenge. Okay, so the 4th item that I wish I knew sooner, there's kind of a lot of layers to this one. I have here in my note, just because it's cheaper doesn't mean you should buy it. I think we can all agree that we've over shopped, over consumed and bought things while we're out shopping that we don't really need. And there is definitely this weird vortex that you get into when you start thrifting, where things that you see at a thrift store look better than when you get them at home. Same can be true for other shopping experiences, but I have found so many things while thrifting and being like, this is so cute, I love this, and then get it home and I'm like, I'm never gonna wear this. So as your teacher, as your big sister, I am telling you, don't do what I did, and don't just buy something because, oh well, it's $5, well it's $10. Do you actually need it? I'm also talking to myself as well. Do you really need that item? Even though we are doing a better service by not buying new and creating new things, we are using things that have already been created, which goes all into sustainability, which is something else I'm very passionate about. Overconsumption in thrifting is still very real. And just because it was $5 or $10, those $5 or $10 can rack up very quickly, and then you're coming home with stuff that you might only wear a couple times. And with this year, I am trying to be more conscious with what I bring in. So although I'm thrifting all the time, you'll notice that from last year to this year, I haven't been buying as much, and there hasn't been as many hauls as you would see in previous videos. I think this can be said for pretty much all points of fashion at this point. I'm seeing a lot more Shein and Target, Universal Threads, and fast fashion brands being like thrown into thrift stores, and we're not really seeing that type of quality anymore. It definitely is more important to not buy new if you can. And also with these types of thrift stores, they help out their local communities and are affordable options for many different people. And so I think there is something to be said about being conscious with your spending and how you buy, and bringing things that actually bring you joy and things that you will actually wear or that you can upcycle. Last but certainly not least, my final piece of advice for whether this is starting as a hobby, you want to start getting into being a Poshmark, Depop, or a reseller at some kind of market, or you're just needing some items and want to do it for a cheaper price, because everything is so expensive nowadays. This last one I feel like is the most important one and the most like no-brainer, but I feel like I need to say it. With all things, whether you're doing it for fun or job or any of that, please have fun with it. Like, I know that is the most simple thing and probably the most cliche thing that I can say, but as someone that does it constantly and is constantly online stores and what is out there, you can really get bogged down by it. But do it because you enjoy the hunt. Do it because it's a treasure and you're looking for something new and exciting. Maybe you're trying to find your new style, or buy a gift for a friend, or decorate a new place. Truly, I feel like at its core, thrifting is a treasure hunt, and being able to find and score items that you really love, and also the fact that you can be like, thanks, this was thrifted, it was $5. People, I've never met someone that was not impressed by that and was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, tell me how. So as you're getting into this, like, this is one of the reasons why I love it so much. Like, have fun with it. I literally put on here, do it because you enjoy the hunt. Make a day of it for yourself. Like, I always go, I grab a coffee, I grab a snack, I put my headphones in and listen to music or a podcast. This is fun. It's supposed to be fun. And work or, you know, like a hobby might not always be enjoyable, but at the end of the day, you make it what you want it to be. And I love it so much. I've created a channel around it. And so I feel like as you're stepping into this, do it with fun. There are no rules, you know, like, yes, there are tips and tricks and secrets and stuff that people will tell you, but truthfully, there are no rules. Go in and maybe you'll find things that no one else has found. Maybe you'll do it in a completely different way as me, and that's totally cool. But when you're doing it, definitely have fun. And again, I know that sounds like so dumb and maybe not a tip or a trick, but I think people can get so overwhelmed by it because there are usually these like big warehouses and there's a ton to see. Go in and just have fun. Go in with a plan, or make it a game. Go in with a friend or a partner or a parent or something like that. Like, go and have fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. You know what I mean? So that is it for today. I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to go back to basics because we just hit 2 years on this channel, and I feel like I should have done this like day one, but I didn't, and I'm still learning and trying new stuff. But I figured for today I would give you some tips and tricks. Hopefully these help whether you are a new thrifter, an old thrifter, or somewhere in between. I feel like there's always fun things to learn, and obviously I'm always open to hearing like tips and tricks that you have. If you do thrift and you have some tips on things to look out for that I didn't mention in this video, I would love to know, and I can definitely make a part 2 if you're interested. But that is going to be it for me today. If you do enjoy this type of content, definitely give this video a like, a comment, and subscribe down below. If you are not already, you can find all my social media here as I post more thrifting and lifestyle content over there. And last but not least, I will see you guys on the next video.